Mhm. So, yeah, so welcome to this session here on Bodhicaryavatara. I forgot which number of session that is, but doesn't matter. We are somewhere in the 5th chapter, and yeah, I'm sure you have a general understanding what we are talking about. Yeah, this is the Bodhicaryavatara, so we are learning and studying and hopefully realizing and applying the 6 parameters, the Bodhisattva's way of life, the conduct and the view and the action, meditation of the Bodhisattvas. And yeah, this is what the whole book is about. So since it's a Mahayana text, since it's a Buddhist text, since it is about the Bodhisattva principle, yeah, please try to generate that good motivation before we start. In your own words, in your own minds and hearts. And yeah, so if you remember the first chapter, Shantideva was really asking us or requesting us or inspiring us to develop that good heart of bodhicitta to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. And then after the preparation in chapter 2 and 3, we then really in chapter 3 took the commitment to really take that bodhicitta to really work for the benefit of beings. And then chapter 4 and 5 is about then keeping the proper discipline of a bodhisattva. And this we started already in chapter 4 to talk about what carefulness is, so that we behave properly, that we work on our negative emotions that would block us in order to really help others. And now chapter 5 is called introspection or vigilance. And there we watch our mind, and as soon as we see, something destructive or egocentric or painful or confusing is happening in our mind, then we don't follow that, we don't nourish that, but with watching it, we are if we have this watching thing in our mind, when these problematic tendencies arise, then just having that watching mind gives enough distance to the thing that is happening in our mind, so that we don't necessarily need to follow it. So that is the whole idea here, that also in meditation, we are not trying to delete something from our mind that is not so important, but we try to be more aware, and therefore whatever happens in our mind, then we have much more freedom to intentionally or consciously follow it or not. So here the idea is that we are aware or vigilant or watching in regards to our mind, and then we will notice very soon if there's something fishy going on in our mind. And then Shantideva's suggestion at the moment here in chapter 5 is, whenever something destructive happens in our mind, then remain like a piece of wood. This is so in the area of the verses 40-50 of this chapter 5. This is Shantidevas main advice, so that we just don't react, that we remain calm, at ease, fresh, vigilant, but that we don't fall into any traps that are distracting or destructive or that are creating any pain or harm to others. So wait, I just maybe sent the verses here in the chat. that are coming up today at some point. How is it called? Oh. Here. So this is here now in the chat, and we basically start with verse 54, but maybe I start a little bit with verse 48 again, where we have been. So from verse 48 to 54, we don't go through them again, you know, but generally there's a whole list of 27 situations or problematic tendencies or ideas that could happen in our mind or in our lives. And to all that, Shantideva is saying, yeah, don't react, but remain like a piece of wood. As I said, you know, a wood is sort of not really actively involving in something, but it's just laying there, not moving, but still it's not like a rock, you know, it's not so hard, but there's also a tenderness in it, of course, but we are just not following those tendencies. So in these 27 tendencies or situations could be, if we start from verse 48, could be attachment, could be anger or aversion, could be any distraction, or that we want to belittle others with words, or it could be that we feel we are super important and we are full of pride. It could be that we are so super overly satisfied with ourselves, with our family, with our beauty or youth or whatever, or wealth. It could be that we are tempted to talk about the faults of others. It could be that we are very pretentious, or it could be the wish that we deceive others. And then in verse 50, it could be that we are tempted to fish for compliments, or that we want to blame others, or that we use harsh words, or that we want to create fights and disputes, or that we only look at financial gain or honor or fame, or that we want to have servants and want to be served, or that we don't want to help others anymore, you know, and that we are only looking for our own benefit and our own pleasure, or that we want to say something that is actually motivated by negative emotions, or it could be that we lose our patience and become angry and impatient, or it could be that we lose our diligence and become very lazy, or it could be that we lose our courage and become very afraid or cowardice, or we lack our shame, or we want to gossip, or we have a very dualistic mind. So all these are, like, in summary, like these 27 situations that are explained here by the Mahasiddha Shantideva in verse 48 until 43. So, and then the advice for all these situations, as I said, according to Shantideva here, is to remain like a piece of wood. That is the default reflex we should have. But then that's not all that Shantideva has to offer, but he has also then in verse 54 onwards, he is then also introducing 9 antidotes that we could apply. And I think this is where we have ended last time. So this is where we should begin now. So I hope you can all see the text. So we are in verse 54. And so Shantideva is here saying, yeah, having in this way examined his mind for disturbing conceptions and for thoughts that strive for meaningless things, the courageous bodhisattvas should hold his mind steady through the application of remedial forces. Yeah, so in summary, you know, whatever happens, whatever of these 27 situations happen, it is most important that we are just aware of it, that this is sort of slowly growing into our, in our minds, and that we then, remain still, you know, like a piece of wood, not going into it, not getting caught into it, and therefore, therefore we have much more freedom and gap and space in our mind to do the positive things that that bodhicitta requires. And and then as a supportive help, there are like 9 antidotes or remedies that are protecting our minds. Okay, and by that the mind can remain stable. Oh, I thought I shared the whole PDF in the chat. No, because people can't see it. Katja, thank you for sending it again. It's a direct PDF, so does it make a difference if one is on a tablet? No idea. No idea. Can't still see it. Oh, really? That's strange, because Katja, I think, copied exactly the thing that I posted. But anyway, I can also share my screen if you want. I have it here on my screen. It's also not a bad idea. So I don't know how that works. Now I think you should see either, right? You see only the verse, I think. Is it like that? And you don't see the chaos of my desktop, right? Okay, so that is what I just read and sort of explained. So here the idea is really to apply these antidotes, to have a stable mind that is unshaken by what is it called, disturbing conceptions or negative emotions, kleshas, and so on. So, and then these antidotes are then explained in the following verses. So verse 55 already shows like 6 antidotes. So let's go through them. And yeah, I see like Effie, for example, is new here. So if you have any question, just let us know, you know, just unmute, or maybe write that you have a question, or unmute yourself. Whoever wants to ask anything, it's always good to be interactive. Okay, so now Shantideva is saying here, these are 9 antidotes, and yeah, as I said here, the first 6 are explained in verse 55, and this is to protect our mind, that our mind is not degenerating, but is also able to then develop more and more qualities. So the first one is being very resolute. Other translations are having ascertainment. So here the idea is that one doesn't have, or either way around, one has certainty in the teachings or in the instructions. And for that, one needs to remove all the doubts or hesitations or wrong views that one might have. So that is, of course, a big, big topic. So whatever instructions we get, we have to clash them with our own views, and there, of course, we have to be super honest. Our view is not defined by what we have studied. For example, I have studied Madhyamika or Prasangika, yes, intellectually that makes sense to me, but that doesn't necessarily shape my view. You know, I might still cling to permanence here and there, or I might still, of course, I still have clinging to that, and I still have so many wrong views. I still have an ego-centered mind, and I still have a dualistic perception. So even though intellectually I adopt the Prasangika Madhyamika view, of course I don't. I'm not realizing it. You know, I'm not really living accordingly. So therefore, it is. But at least that's something. You know, like intellectually, I'm super convinced by Madhyamika, and I don't have doubts. But so that is already good. But still, it's not really my view that is the ground of my living yet. But if we have doubts regarding the Buddhist view, then yes, then we should discuss, we should question, we should scrutinize, we should ask friends, we should ask books or teachers, and by that we become more and more clear, and hopefully more convinced and less doubtful what the Buddhist view is concerned. But that is really a big point, really being resolute in our confidence and our certainty regarding the instructions. And yeah, this, for that, of course, we need our reasoning, our own understanding. As you all know, Buddha said we should not believe something just because he, as an authoritative person, said so. But it's about really like, proving it, checking it, and using reasonings and so on. Of course, we can also use devotion to clarify our doubts, and for example, we can understand that Buddha would have no reason to lie. I think Dotulku is saying that sometimes, you know, because Buddha has no reason, no wish, no intention to lie. So therefore, maybe we can trust Buddha and his teachings just because of that. In the Indian tradition, we have the word rishi, right? The truth tellers. They have no reason to lie, and their speech is so powerful because they have not lied for, I don't know, lifetimes. And by that, the power of speech is very strong. Yeah, and sometimes that's also interesting, I think, and I have a feeling Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche is also encouraging us more and more sometimes to read intentionally non-Buddhist books, and or even maybe books that are not, from his point of view, not so perfect, like some books by Stephen Batchelor, where Stephen Batchelor is sort of denying the existence of karma or rebirth and so on. So that is interesting also to read those books, or read whatever other books about philosophy, science, and so on, and then really internally try to clash it or challenge it with our understanding of the Dharma. That sometimes helps also that our own understanding is challenged and improved. Yeah, so that would be the first antidote here out of 9. And that really, as I said, that is one of the 9 factors here that will protect our mind. And then the next one is faithful. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't mean don't cheat on your partner, but I think that is also something that maybe is good not to do. But here, faithful means it's a little bit similar to the first one, that we really have a strong, clear faith, you know, that is unshakable. And if you have studied Words of My Perfect Teacher, then Patrul Rinpoche, for example, that book, Patrul Rinpoche is explaining different types of faith, and they're all based on reasoning, and then become more and more confident and unshakable. And here the faith, according to the commentaries on the Bodhicaryavatara, is mainly that the faith is in regards to the three jewels. Yeah, and for that, of course, it helps if we read about the three jewels. And I'm sure you have heard of also the practices of recollecting the three jewels, where we remember the qualities. Like Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche is using that also as a substitute to prostration practice. If our body is not able to do so, then we can just sit mentally in a nice park and remember the qualities of the Buddha, of the Dharma and Sangha, and that is similar. That is similar to doing prostrations. Or also, that is very interesting if you have studied Uttara Tantra Shastra by Maitreya. So there, on the Buddha nature, but there are 3 chapters on the 3 jewels, and this is, it's amazing, how Buddha Dharma Sangha is explained there. Yeah, and and that is normally something that is good to recollect these qualities. And of course, we can also see in Vajrayana, if we are more in that area, then we can also look at our guru or teacher and see the qualities of the teacher, and then the qualities of his or her teachings, and then also seeing him or her as a sangha. So we can, of course, apply it also to this one person or few teachers if we have. Jangshub is saying, but I guess in Tibetan, Depa is more refers to the word devotion, rather faith. Yeah, I think so. Especially faith could be really like, I'm not sure with the translation sometimes, because I'm not English, but faith sounds a little bit maybe too much belief and assumption. So that is not so much meant here. But as I said, if we go through these 3 types of faith, then the first one might be, it might be just an inspiration that is totally blind, but you're just inspired by somebody's presence or some sentences she or he is saying. But then you need to start your reasoning process. That's why I think one of the books of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is also called Faith Based on Reason or something. And so that is important. And Pallavi is saying faith could be referred specifically to faith on karma interdependence. Yes, also, but here, according to the commentaries, to all the 3 jewels. And of course, within the Dharma jewel, these topics like karma and interdependence are super important. Yeah, actually, to bring both last questions together, I think Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche sometimes is defining devotion like that we have, devotion is like, believing or trusting cause and effect, like karma. Yeah. Yeah, that is important, and because that is also connected to the next point. The steadiness, because if you have this faith or this devotion or this confidence, then you can be more steady. So, for example, if I want to become a Buddha, if I really understand the side effects and dangers of samsara, if I really understand the problematic situation that I'm in, and if I can really see the positive qualities of Buddhahood or enlightenment or of a Bodhisattva, then that makes me steady. Steady meaning I'm stable in my practice and I'm not giving up easily, if there are some hardships coming my way. So that is the next point here, the steadiness. And yeah, recently I've received a teaching, and there the Rinpoche was saying, actually, you can see that in Milarepa's life story also, that in the big. So yeah, my point is, the more you have that, the more you have what? The resolute thing and the faithfulness. So the more you have this conviction and certainty in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, that means the more you want to attain Buddhahood, then the consequence is the less you will perceive difficulties as difficulties. That is like the point here I will try to make regarding steadiness. So the less you perceive hardships as actually being hardships. So this Rinpoche was applying this logic to Milarepa and the life story of Milarepa, that Milarepa, I don't know if it was really like that, and I don't know if that Rinpoche meant it like that, but I think it's an interesting example. Like when Milarepa was practicing and learning from Marpa, and Marpa we know was very harsh, but based on kindness, of course. So Milarepa was suffering there under Marpa's guidance, and he was also complaining sometimes, about his back being so painful and so on. And because he had to build these towers again and again, or this one tower again and again. So, but then, so there for Milarepa, the hardships appeared as hardships. But then through the training, when Milarepa later was in the cave, and also there were hardships, but in that later situation, Milarepa was always like very positive and singing and praising the beauty of whatever he was experiencing. So there was never a complaint anymore. There was, even though he didn't have anything to eat or only nettles at some point, and it was cold and all of that, he was not complaining there anymore. So according to, so we could maybe understand that during that evolution of Milarepa, or development of Milarepa in this one lifetime, he already became more and more steady. This is the word here, in the sense that he perceived hardships less and less as hardships. So that is something good. I give you a medical example. I don't know if that works for you. It's based on a little trust in Western medicine in this case, but I think we can change whatever therapy. But the idea is, if I have cancer, that is samsara, and so and then the doctor is telling me you need an operation. That is the Buddha giving me the Dharma. And then the operation is happening, and the cancer will be cut out, and that is then, let's say, freedom of samsara, and that is then, enlightenment. So if I don't understand that the cancer is negative, then I will perceive the suggested method, the operation, as suffering, as a big negative thing. If I don't understand that cancer is negative, if I don't understand that the operation is positive, then I will perceive that thing as a hardship, as a difficulty. But the more I understand that cancer is negative and can spread, and that it can kill me very early, and that the operation in this example is the solution, and is really like helping me to be liberated from the pain and suffering that I have, or that I might have in the future, then I don't perceive the operation as something negative, but as something very, very precious and very positive. And therefore, I will not perceive it as a difficulty, but more like an opportunity. So that, I think, here is mentioned with the steadiness, that we don't perceive the difficulties anymore as difficulties or hardships, because we are so clear about that we want to attain Buddhahood. That makes everything else very small. Okay, then the next one, according to the commentaries, both of them, respectful and polite, are the, wait, I just checked something. Yeah. Yeah, so here the next one, respectful and polite, is actually, according to commentaries, is then the antidote number 4, both of them. Yeah, and polite or humbleness, you know, that is, yeah, that is of course important, and that is protecting our mind, because it is sort of the opposite of our usual self-centeredness or our infatuation, is that a word? That we are so full of ourselves. So that is the opposite here, you know, we are more respectful to the practices, to the masters, or to everybody, and that we then express in body, speech, and mind. Yeah, so that is very important also, and that is protecting our mind. And of course, it's also important for learning, you know, like respect. If we are not humble, then I'm sure you have studied that also, you know, the 3 defects of a pot. When we want to learn something, we could either, so we are the pot, or our mind is the pot where the Dharma should be put in. But if our pot is dirty with negative emotions or our cultural clingings and hang-ups, then of course we will taint and stain the Dharma, whatever is filled into the pot. And if our pot has a leakage, then of course whatever is filled into the pot we will lose and forget. And here the example is, if we are too arrogant or proud, then of course, then our mind is like a pot that is upside down, you know, nothing really fits, or nothing can be put into it, you know, but everything, yeah, goes to the bottom that is up there, you know, nothing will be contained. So that is the problem of not being respectful, or of being impolite, or being arrogant and not humble. And inspired by Do Tulku, actually, I think you could apply that. Like another day I talked with somebody, and sometimes that happens easily. You know, if you talk, for example, to a psychotherapist as a Buddhist, and you as a Buddhist talking to a psychotherapist, and then, of course, you start by talking about the similarities of Buddhism and psychotherapy. You know, what are the similarities, so that the other person can relate to it. So that is a good stepping stone. But then, if later the whatever this psychotherapist is hearing about Buddhism, if this psychotherapist then is always always understanding, or always hearing every Buddhist thing and saying, oh, we also have that in psychotherapy, then this psychotherapist is sort of not open anymore, actually, to what Buddhism has to offer, because this psychotherapist is then so convinced that psychotherapy offers everything already, and Buddhism is just another way of expressing it, you know, and then there's no openness. I don't know if that makes sense. It is remapping, yes, something like that. For me, it's like, I don't know, for me, it's like Tetris, you know, Tetris, the things that are falling, and you have to move them so that they're fit. So likewise also, you know, you take the Dharma Tetris building blocks, you know, and you move them in the way that they fit to your preformed ear, you know, and you're not really learning anything new, but you make everything fit to your own pre-existing knowledge. So that is a danger. Since Effie is here, she's from Greek. I will quote Dotulku in this because he is saying sometimes when he is in Greece, that is a problem for him because the students, they say, yeah, Socrates or Platon or whoever of these great philosophers, they also said exactly this, or they even, I heard him quote the Greek people that they say Sanskrit was invented by the Greek, So it might be true or not, but for Dotulku, that is a problem if somebody is so, and I think Helen is also maybe from Greece. The surname sounds like that. And if he's saying that happens to some Greek people, of course it's not, I'm just generalizing, yeah, for the fun of it. But that is a danger, if you think, yeah, we all have that, and we have that in our tradition already, and we are actually the original tradition because we invented Sanskrit, then that really reduces your openness to new information from another tradition. And that was my only point I wanted to make in a more provocative than skillful way, apparently. Yeah, but for me that's also interesting to just check my own mind, whenever I think, yeah, I know that from science or from whatever, and then I'm not really open. I mean, we know that in a communication, if I, for example, maybe talk to Jon, whom I just see here on my video, and so he says something, and then maybe immediately I think, yeah, I know what he means, and then I stop listening to him, and whatever he says, I will transform in something that it fits to my pre-existent thinking. So that is, and that renders him useless because I'm not listening to him, which is a pity. Yeah, so therefore don't be like that, but be respectful, polite, and humble. Then the next one here, a sense of shame, is also protecting our mind. I think we talked about that sometimes. And here again, I don't know how shame sounds to you. But in Buddhism, it's really something positive. Oh, and apprehensive is also, according to the commentaries, belongs together here as the antidote number 5. So, but shame means it's similar but different to embarrassment if you study Abhidharma or Lorik, when we study the mental factors and events. We have anyway, we have we have our main mind, and then we have 51 mental factors that are sometimes happening or not, and shame is one of them, and shame is a positive one in Buddhism. Marie, I will answer soonish. And so shame is a positive one. It means you are ashamed when you take yourself as the witness. Embarrassment is similar but different because you take somebody else as the witness. So here shame means, I take my own self as the witness. I don't know if you can call it conscience, moral conscience or something, or inner compass, maybe something like that. So for example, I'm not lying because I don't want to be a liar. I'm not stealing because I don't want to be a theft. So I take myself as a witness, and I can't I can't accept being that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a liar or a thief, and therefore I'm not doing it. So I would be ashamed in front of my own self. I would, in German we say, I would not be able to look into my own face in the mirror or something. So that is shame. That is what is talked here about. as I said, embarrassment is similar, but then I take another person as my witness. For example, yeah, now I see Michaela here in the video. So if I'm, then it's called embarrassment. If I don't lie because I'm embarrassed that Michaela will know that I'm lying, you know, or I'm not. Yeah, I'm not whatever using harsh words because I take Michaela or Rinpoche as a witness. So that would be embarrassment. So if I don't have a proper inner compass, then I use the compass of somebody else to navigate myself through virtue and non-virtue. Maybe like that. So that is the first of these of this fifth antidote, and the second of this fifth antidote is apprehensive, being apprehensive. For me, that is always also a strange word that I don't understand because it has different meanings in English. But here it's, yeah, we'll just explain how the commentaries explain that word. So here, yeah, it can be that I'm afraid to do something wrong, very simple like that. Or then this embarrassment thing, I'm afraid or I'm in awe in front of my teacher. Also a little bit, yeah, embarrassment. Or also I'm afraid that whatever I do now has negative consequences in the future for me. So yeah, these three things are sort of meant here. Yeah, and for that, yeah, it's and again, that is a good thing. That is what protects our mind. You know, if I'm afraid that I do something stupid or wrong, or if I'm in awe in front of my master, or when thinking of my master, that also keeps me on track. Or if I'm afraid that my negative actions will have harmful consequences to me, then of course that also keeps me doing the positive things. Yeah. What? Yeah, Marie was saying, can you speak a little bit about how one can combat the tendency to try and fit Dharma into our own thinking, like fitting it into science? How can we approach it with respect? And Pema said modesty. I guess that was an answer. Yes, that is the idea here, this modesty or respectfulness. Yeah, but I think, yeah, that of course. And so with modesty, we are not an upside down pot, but we are no, downside up is the same. We are a pot in the right position. So we are open, you know, and so yeah, we need openness. And we also, and for that, it's also good to understand that we are imperfect at the moment, that our views are dodgy or limited, that our understanding is incomplete, that there's so much more to learn. And that we can learn, of course, based on Buddha nature. And that also then the other points before, you know, that we remember maybe Buddha, Dharma Sangha, or the teachers, that they have a lot to offer, so that this will be beneficial for us. Yeah, I think to understand that our present mind state is quite low tech and not really high tech, you know. So therefore, to understand our own limitations, then I think that awareness already creates, yeah, humbleness, modesty, and openness to learn something new. And also we understand that maybe we have done our usual things like over many lifetimes, and it didn't really liberate us, or at least me. So maybe it's time for a change, and maybe time for new input. So maybe that is that could help, to be more open and not try to, how do you say, fit Dharma into my own thinking. Yeah, my example again with Jon, if I think I'm the great meditator and I talk with Jon about meditation, I will not listen, But if I understand that my experience is limited and maybe Jon is a Buddha, or if not, also he has some experiences to share about meditation. So if I know that he has something to offer, and if I understand that my experience is limited, then that creates the openness. Yeah. So Pallavi, what sounds like guilt? Because they're usually different, shame and guilt. The same in this. Yeah, like shame. If okay, with the psychotherapy that's coming. Yeah, but guilt is. That's also a Christian word, so I don't know exactly what it means. But from Buddhist point of view, I understand guilt as something that you think you are inherently negative or guilty and bad and not good enough. That of course is not meant here. Shame is really you know that you are good actually, and therefore you want to stay good, because I don't want to start becoming a liar. That's why I don't lie. And that was a lie. No, but the idea is like that. I don't want to be a theft, and therefore I don't start stealing. That is not guilt. But that is actually it's more related to, I have my self-worth, and I want to stay worthy and good and sane and healthy. Therefore, I have the strong inner compass, so that I know, that starting to lie is not who I want to be, or is not who I want to become. And psychotherapy and Dharma, of course, I mean, there are many, no, this was just an example. Actually, with my mother, she's a psychotherapist, but it's just that there are of course similarities. That is really just an example. Could be philosophy also, or another religion. If you say, we all talk about compassion, that's true. But then there are also differences. But if one is overly excited about similarities, then one shies away to see the differences that are enriching, I think. So in this psychotherapy, for example, yes, there are similarities, like, yes, everything is maybe a projection of the mind, or or perception is limited, or everything is subjective, maybe those things is common to both. But then there are also many other different things. Then maybe Buddhists would, from there onwards, would say, but mind doesn't truly exist, and ego-centeredness is a problem. But I think psychotherapy would not agree with those 2 points so much. Or I don't know, but they would maybe say, express your emotions. And Buddhists wouldn't necessarily say that. So there are similarities and differences, but just the danger, and as in my example, in the beginning, I think to have a dialogue, it's good to show the similarities. Likewise, the Dalai Lama in public interreligious dialogues, he is always showing the similarities between religions and so on, and that is super great. But then, of course, if you really then want to discuss, then there are differences, and then it's important that you, in order to learn from the other tradition, that you understand that there are really differences, so that you're open to them, and that you're not starting to change what was said into something that you wanted to hear. So, antidote number 6 is peacefulness, and I should strive to make others happy. I really don't know why it's enumerated like that, why sometimes they are two together. But now, yeah, the number 6 antidote is these two together. So peaceful, a calm mind, of course, helps. But that I mean, you know that from shamatha meditation, especially if you look into what is necessary to practice shamatha, you know, there are so many things necessary before you have a peaceful mind. So that is, of course, not easy to do. There needs a lot of renunciation is necessary. Otherwise, you are always thinking and running after things. Then a lot of patience is necessary. Then maybe some isolation is necessary. Yeah. And yeah, but renunciation is important, for example, to have a peaceful mind, like losing interest in stuff. Yeah, and if we have a peaceful mind, then we, so peaceful mind obviously is protecting our mind. And I mean, that is obvious. If we go back to the patient who gets an operation, of course we want that the surgeon has a peaceful mind, you know, and is not super agitated and wild and drunk and again, you know, and that would create so much pain. So therefore, likewise, us, you know, if we have a peaceful mind, then we will not harm others so much. And so that's why maybe these are together here. If we have a peaceful mind, then it's more easy to work for the benefit of others. Then 56. Now comes the 7th antidote. This is the whole verse. I should not be disheartened by all the whims. So disheartened is here the point. Of the childish who are in discord with one another. I should know them to arise in their minds due to disturbing conceptions, and therefore be kind towards them. Yeah, so we should not be disheartened or discouraged. Because it's like that, you know, as long as people are in samsara, they disagree and they fight and have their kleshas. And of course, they will even have negative thoughts against bodhisattvas. I mean, yeah, that happens. Not everybody is seeing. So whatever guru you have, whatever your teacher is, you know, there will be some people in the world who have negative thoughts about him or her. And of course also about yourself, you know, people will create whatever scandals and rumors. So that happens, you know, as long as beings are in samsara, that is happening. I mean, it's obvious. In my mind, there are already so many contradictions. And of course, if two minds, like two people come together, then there will be even more contradictions. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if you had that experience, but my parents are divorced, and before they divorced, you know, there was a lot of quarreling at home. So that is how samsaric people are, you know, always in a pre-divorce state, I think. And so yeah, that's it. Or for me also, it helped. Yeah, like when I worked in psychiatry, you know, then yeah, I didn't take things personal, but it was part of how these people are, you know, that they are mean or whatever and confused. Yeah, and I'm sure you remember Shariputra or Dignaga who took the Bodhisattva vows, but then were very discouraged. And yeah, Shariputra even gave back his Bodhisattva vow because of this mischievous other guy. Yeah, so don't be like that. Don't be discouraged or disheartened. But on the other hand, if you see somebody who is mean to you or making your life difficult, then be extra kind or extra gentle and understanding and compassionate to that person. That is here in the last line, and therefore be kind towards them. Also, Maitreya said something like that. That like the mind of samsaric beings, they have no power, and therefore they again and again do negative actions, and therefore, if you are wise, you are not, I don't know, not getting worked up with them, and actually, like, here I copied something from Ayadeva in his 400 verses. That is actually what reminded me of psychotherapy. No, not psychotherapy, but when I worked in psychiatry, I read it, but I also copy it in the chat. Just as a doctor does not fight with patients who are possessed by spirits, even though they are angry, so the Muni sees the afflictions, not the persons who are involved with the afflictions. I think that is really a cool statement. If somebody is angry with me, then, I mean, this, did we have that already? No, I think it will come in Shantideva's text, then let's not be angry with the person, because the person is sort of out of control, like, for example, possessed by a spirit. And therefore, if somebody is angry with me, then don't be angry with the person, but you could maybe be angry with the anger of that person, but of course that doesn't help either. Just understand that the anger is the problem, not the person, and that the person just doesn't have any control, but is possessed by his or her habits of being angry. So that helps us, or here in this example of Ayadeva, helps the doctor to be calm. So that helps us to be calm and have a peaceful mind, and also helps us to not get discouraged. That is the main point here in verse 56, because that's how people are. That's what we should expect from samsara. There's really not much else to expect. And then, if you have anything to debate on that, then please write that. Because then verse 57 is antidote number 8. And here that is sort of the general antidote of understanding emptiness. In doing that which by nature is not unwholesome, so many negations, doing that which by nature is wholesome, both for the sake of myself and other sentient beings, I should always hold my mind fast, acting like an apparition with no sense of self. So when we do something positive for oneself or others, or when we avoid negative actions regards to others or oneself, then what should we do? These two last things. I should always hold my mind fast, acting like an apparition with no sense of self. So that means then apply wisdom. And yes, in Shantideva's case, more the Madhyamika wisdom, where we see everything as illusory or an apparition or empty or like a dream or like an echo or mirage or reflection or whatever is best for you. Yeah, but see everything, yeah, not solid, not concrete. Yeah, yeah, like a bubble, like a rainbow. I think there are 9 examples. I never remember the whole list. And I forgot where it's written. I think Maitreya wrote about it. So that is the idea. Madhyamika, we have the two truth, relative and absolute. So yes, things appear, but things are empty. Yes, things are empty, but they appear. This paradox is in which we live. And so this is exemplified in all these examples, like bubble, it appears, but it's not solid. Rainbow, it appears, but yeah, you can't take it home, or what else? Yeah, mirage, yeah, it appears like water, but you can't drink from it. Reflection of a moon, yeah, you can see it, but I don't know. It doesn't influence tide, the oceans, the reflection of a moon. Or dream, yeah, you can see everything vividly, but yeah, it's not real, So remembering these examples, and again, whichever example is most inspiring for you, then if you have that in mind and then go through the day and see everything like that, like a dream, like an illusion, like a reflection, then yeah, that is then the best protection for the mind. And yeah, and then like in a lucid dream, basically, then there's nothing to be afraid of, and we are not we are so there's nothing to be afraid of, and there's nothing also to hope for, because it's just like a dream. And that is especially important, exactly like Effie is saying. It also helps us then to see that we don't have that also the self that we perceive so strongly. Yes, okay, it's appearing, but it's also empty by nature. So therefore, it protects us also to be proud of good actions we do. Or it protects us from being hurt when somebody's criticizing us. Or it protects us from, I don't know, getting overly excited if we win $1 million, or so if everything is like a dream, then it's fine. No reason to run away from anything or to run after anything. Yeah, and so that is important then to see everything like a dream. And Katja, I will answer your things soon. And yeah, the idea is really like yeah, if you perceive yourself also as a dream or mirage, then yeah, if somebody is criticizing me, it's as if somebody is criticizing a mirage, so what, it's not, it doesn't have much impact, if you say, oh, the water looks dirty in the mirage, it doesn't matter because you can't drink it anyway. Or if you say the rainbow is not so clear, yes, doesn't matter also because it's not really there either. So therefore, to overcome these 8 worldly dharmas of hope and fear, then that's really good. That is here the antidote to see everything like a dream, because then you don't have hope and you don't have fear. Really, for me, lucid dreaming is always the best. Like personally, is my favorite example. If you are dreaming and you don't know that you are dreaming, then of course you are afraid of stuff that is maybe happening in your dream, and you want something good happening in your dream. But as soon as you have lucid dreaming, it doesn't matter, It doesn't matter if 10 people beat you up or not in a dream. Yes. So I think here's something interesting going on. I'm afraid seeing things like in a dream would make me lose any desire to live or do good things, even Buddhist ones. Yeah. And then in this case, it's easy to be hit by an elusive car on the road. Yes. But then, of course, it would be an elusive broken leg only. You know, it's not a real fracture. Yes, definitely. So that's what I meant in the very beginning. At least when I said I might have the view of Prasangika, but I might not really live by it, you know, in a consequentialist way. So intellectually, I might a little bit understand that everything is like a dream, yes, but yeah, of course, I don't perceive everything like in reality. In reality, I don't perceive everything really like a dream, but I take things for solid and important and concrete, and therefore, if I would. If I like prematurely would say, oh, everything is like a dream, and therefore I run in front of a car on the road, then that, even though it doesn't make sense even for a Buddha, let's say, but if I would, that would only be okay if I would then really be also so convinced in my view and strong that every little pain and every operation and every 6 weeks of immobility and then 3 months of physiotherapy and everything would also be perceived as illusory and without a tiny idea of this is solid or real. Then it would be sort of okay and consequent. But of course, and that goes then to Katja's question, why should we do it? Why should we? I know, Jangshub, you're not saying we jump in front of a car, but I'm just exaggerating it. But but still, why is that helpful, and why doesn't make why it doesn't make us nihilistic or careless? I think is Katja's question. Yeah, that is always a big thing, you know. It's always so when one is talking about relative truth, then sometimes people cry out and want more absolute truth. And then if one is talking about absolute truth, then people want more relative truth. I'm not talking about you, Katja, but that is really like often happening, and it's really a big question what you're asking, and it's really so strange. It's so difficult to answer, I think. So there are different answers to that. Many different answers. So if I see everything more like a dream, then that liberates me from seeing everything concrete, and that no, don't be sorry, Katja. It's a big, it's a big and important question, really. So if I see everything as a dream, then I don't see everything concrete, and therefore I become more playful, sort of, with life and reality, and have less negative emotions. That is definitely a benefit, and therefore, if I have yes, if I take things more lightly and less seriously, then I have less negative emotions, and then I have much more mental space to act positively, to then practice bodhicitta, because because I'm not so disturbed and I'm not so limited, but my mind is much vaster and more spacious, and everything is more doable and maneuverable, and there's more pliancy in my life because nothing is so solid. That could be one answer. And another answer to your thing, Katja, is some teachers say, so if I perceive everything as a dream, then I understand that other people also actually are living in a dream. Yes, of course, nothing is really truly existent. And then, but still in a dream, for the sake of others, you can you want to make sure that others have a good dream and not a nightmare. So that could be another way to deal with that example of dream. And then a third answer could be, yeah, if you go into emptiness to the extreme that you become careless or nihilistic, then that is an extreme. But if you go to the relative truth and become too dogmatic and constipated, then that is another extreme. So therefore, try to be in the middle. Whenever you personally in one specific situation see, oh yeah, I'm becoming too nihilistic, too careless because I'm too much on the extreme of emptiness, then yes, then come back to the relative teachings and say, yes, everything is important. People are suffering and they need love, but then if you go too much to that relative truth side, then everything becomes too solid, concrete, and truly existent. Then go more into the direction of emptiness, where nothing is so important and nothing is really there and everything is more open. Like in the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form, so if you go too much to here, your question is asking if you go too much to emptiness, yes, then remember form. Emptiness is form. Avalokiteshvara said so. Buddha agreed. And if you say, if you're going too much to form, then remember, form is emptiness. Avalokiteshvara said so, and Buddha agreed. So I think that is the idea to be playful in that and to be very individual and situative, so that I look in every given situation, is it to which extreme do I fall? Sorry, I need to drink. If I'm getting too tight and everything becomes too important, then I need more the emptiness side. And if I'm becoming too careless and nonchalant and ignorant or less compassionate, so more, then I should bring the relative side. Okay, Sari is saying, the way I have tried to formulate it to myself to help with the question is thinking, because of emptiness, there is nothing to gain. Because of appearance, everything needs to be taken care of. Yes, you can also say it like that, that emptiness liberates you and compassion or appearance liberates others, You could understand it like that, that you practice emptiness for yourself, that you are not having negative emotions, that you are not suffering, and also that you don't need anything. But because of the relative aspect, because of appearance, every little detail matters. I mean, we know that also from Go Rinpoche, right? And there was another master who said exactly the same thing. View should be vast as the sky. Emptiness, should really totally be realized and understood. But then the actions should be so teeny tiny and detailed, like barley flour or something. And so for your own sake, yes, have a complete emptiness understanding that will result in achievement of Dharmakaya, that is the liberation for your sake. But then the relative training is equally important, so appearance, form is equally important, and by training in that, then you attain Rupakaya, like Nimanakaya and Sambhogakaya, and that is only for the audience, that is only for others. So therefore, yes, the relative level needs to be taken care of. The relative level are the appearances of sentient beings. Okay, now comes Jangshup's question, which I think Longchenpa can answer best. Kanto Rinpoche once asked something similar as a homework. But this was 93 and I can't remember. Who is dreaming now? Is it my dream or am I part of Arne's dreams? Yeah, Jangshub, to tell you the truth, it's only you dreaming everything here. There is no Pema, Jon, Helen, DJ, Sarah, Ulrike, nobody, Pallavi, nobody is there, only you dreaming all that. Really. And if you, in your dream, I might also dream, but it's all your dream. And yeah, we agreed actually to never tell you, but since you asked, it's all you. You will never, yes, you're alone, but also you can't be alone because you have never been together with anyone anyway. It's only you, my dear, yeah. Yeah, good luck with that. Really, like, everything is your mind, you know, because you can dream, like in a real dream, like real dream, you can dream of me, and in your dream you might think and imagine that I'm dreaming. Of course, everything, you can create everything, and everything is created by your mind. And that you are thinking that I'm dreaming is also only your assumption. Maybe I have never dreamt. Yes. Okay. I don't know if that helped, but yeah, one has to be consequent then with that, and then everybody is a dream. And then, of course, that makes it really difficult. Then, according to Katya's question, also, okay, if I am your dream, why should you be nice to me? Madhyamika is not denying the outer world, but is not establishing its true existence. It's only saying, yes, it's appearing because of causes and conditions. That's it, you know? Like in a dream, by the way. Yes, mind, there is no mind. Mind is luminous. Are we playing quote bingo now? Yeah, this is actually the three yanas, you know? From Shravakayana, you know, they talk about mind as if it's existent, and then Madhyamika says, oh, there is no mind truly existent, and then in Vajrayana, yeah, but the essence or nature of mind is clear light, yeah, the outer world, of course, is in Abhidharma or Shravakayana. They talk about that there is an outer world. You know, there's hell realm under the earth, and there is heaven above, and animals on the right and left. But in Mahayana, there is no true existence in anything out there. It's just a projection of mind. That's already the Chitta Machin saying. But then on top of that, the mind is not even truly existent. Yes, but thanks to the luminous quality of the mind, everything can appear. So, thank you, Pema. It fits. Now I understand. Okay. So let's go to the last antidote in verse 58. And then at least we had some verses today. Oop, why can't I see? Here. So by thinking again and again, this, yeah, that just means, yeah, get used to it, you know, repeat it, you know, cultivate it, get familiar with all that. And so this you can apply to all the antidotes. Everything needs to be trained. And then that after a long time I have won the greatest leisure. Likewise, I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as the king of mountains. So the last point here is to remember, yeah, the precious human life, basically. So it's like it was a long shot to get it. You know, it's very rare and precious, and only because we have the chance to practice Dharma and attain Buddhahood. So that is the only thing that makes our precious human life precious. And I'm sure you know the lists, you know, in the books. There are like 8 freedoms, 10 endowments, or advantages, and Longchenpa has 16 more aspects. So there's a whole list, and I don't know, maybe we have 80% of them. That is already quite good. Because wrong view is one, you know, so we might not have really the perfect view. Yeah, anyway, so that is also what we should remember, you know, how precious our situation at the moment is, how rare it is, and that we should not waste that great chance, you know. Otherwise, yeah, it's a pity. We would, yeah, it would be this pearls before swines, you know. If the precious human life is like a pearl, and if we don't really use it properly, then we would be the swines. Is that the saying? I think so, yeah. And therefore, yeah, we should really have a firm mind, you know, that is immovable. And for me, that is always still Khyentse Rinpoche comes to mind, how he was like physically alone, you know, so immovable like a mountain. And so this is how we should be. Yeah, we should not be like a candle in the wind, basically, you know, but we should be more firm. I'm sure you know the song by Elton John, right? For Marilyn Monroe. I think he's singing, yeah, like a candle in the wind, and yeah, never knowing where to cling to when the rain sets in or something. So yeah, don't be that flickery. You know, that if there's a little wind of hope and fear, you know, that we become very unstable. But yeah, mentally be like a mountain, and yeah, unmovable in a good sense, you know. It's a little bit maybe like this piece of wood. And yeah, and these are the 9 remedies or supports or antidotes to yeah, to protect the mind. And I think that's a good place to stop here, because then comes a big other topic about how we can gather virtue and the discipline to do that. This is then coming from 59 to 83. So that is a whole other thing. And yeah, and here this part was from 34 to 58 was mainly to avoid negativity. Yes, and then the other part will be to gather virtue, and then the last part of the chapter then will be working for the benefit of others. This is how Khenpo Kunsang Palden Rinpoche is explaining it in the outline. I think that's it. Thank you all for joining. I hope it was not too confusing, and especially for Jangshub, that I hope you don't feel too alone, but we are there and not there with you, as you know. And of course, from my perspective, Jangshub is also only in my dream. So, okay, thank you all for your time and interaction. And yeah, take good care. And if you want, I think if you want, this thing will happen again at His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday on the 6th of July. Oh yeah, let's dedicate. Wait, I have already a nice small video we can play as a dedication. This is from His Holiness, or it's His Holiness. Wait. Sorry. Yeah. So, okay. This is our dedication. This is from the Bodhicaryavatara, of course. Share screen. Okay, and then I say goodbye already.
This is my favorite prayer. Daily I pray this. That gives me inner strength. So enthusiasm to serve sentient being, humanity on this one. As long as space remains, and as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and help dispel the misery of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice.